Hi, Jenny here. Today is Ostomy bag changing day, so I thought I would take you along with me. Now, just a disclaimer, I am already wearing a clear bag, so you are going to see some feces. You will also see my ostomy. Ostomy is the part of, for me, my large intestines, which sticks out of my body. How they make the ostomy is they cut a little hole in your skin and they pull some of the intestines out. They fold it over like a turtleneck and then they sew it onto your skin so it stays out. So, just so you know, if you don't want to see any of that, then this isn't the video for you. Go watch one of my other videos. In any case, I'm in my bathroom. Hopefully the clock ticking won't be too bothersome. I have all my supplies laid out. This is how I usually do it. So I usually use a grocery bag from the store just because we get them and they're free, and so I have those to use. I have my adhesive remover spray. I have some stoma powder just in case I need it. I always just bring this in the bathroom with me when I'm going to change because you never know if I'm going to find a red area. Sometimes you can tell, you will know, you'll have itching or stinging and you'll know that you'll need to use this. But it's like, instead of making a trip back into my bedroom for my supplies, I just bring it every time so that I have it with. And then also because of having that, I have a barrier wipe, which you use with the stoma powder. And sometimes you can use this even without. It adds just an extra layer of stickiness between you and your bag, so it can help it stick more. Or if you are having any other skin issues, then you can, when you use that, it also, again, it adds that extra barrier between you and the bag and stuff, and will help heal that area. So hopefully the next time you change, it will all be good. I have a couple pieces of toilet paper. Usually when I take the bag off, there'll be a little bit of feces on the stoma. I can wipe that off. I have, I forgot these. I have adhesive remover wipes. I usually go through 3 to 4 of these. I used to go through 6 when the barrier ring was like really sticking to me. So I make sure I have a bunch of those on hand. I have my bag. We are going to be putting on a clear bag again, I guess. I was hoping for an opaque bag. It was supposed to be opaque like this on both sides. I guess I ordered wrong. I will have to look at my order, so before I order next time. I do have a bunch of clear regular bags, which is why I kind of go to them and use those up because I have them. But now that I've had my ostomy for over a year, I'm used to changing them and everything, and I'm used to kind of what my output feels like and how that works, so I don't need the see-through. I will have a video up on the pros and cons of 3 different bags. I guess this would be a 4th one, but like I said, I have had the opaque one of this. Some of the benefits of the see-through for me are just in case you are having any problems with any output, or for me, like when I was going to have my colonoscopy, I wanted to kind of see what was coming out. And granted, again, all those of you with, regular butts that go the regular way, you just have to look in the toilet and see. But I've got the advantage of I can look in my bag and see how's it coming out, what's it looking like, what color is it? And the Esteem body, this bag has also a convex flange on there. So that's kind of nice too. Sometimes my stoma retracts just a little bit. Sometimes it's out just enough. It used to be out a little further. It's gone back a tad and it's stayed where it's at now. It's been this way for a long time, but I kind of like also having the convex area. So that's nice. The thing for me is with these bags, sometimes this colloidal area, I have a little bit of a skin reaction to it. So the last time that I wore a bag like this, I ended up having a skin rash underneath this part. So it wasn't along my stoma, it was more just on the skin area. So I did put some of the stoma powder on there, I did do the barrier wipe, and then I changed back to one of the other bags that I wear, and by the next bag change it was fine. It was all gone away. So there's the bag, I have my barrier ring, and then these days I like to use my little measuring guide. The bags that I get, you have to cut your own hole. You can order bags sometimes that are already cut. But because of my having a big midline scar, I like to wear my bag off center so that it doesn't go into the midline scar, so I have less chance of it leaking. So because of that, I cut my own bags. And then I do know what size my stoma is. And so it's just easier for me to lay this on the bag. I draw my circle where I know I want to cut it, and I'm good to go. So then I have my marker and I have my scissors to cut. So depending on the type of bags that you use and all that kind of stuff again, and cutting your hole, you may or may not need some of these supplies, but I am going to put my glasses on. Hopefully I won't have my glasses reflect too much in the video and all that, but I will, there we go, the 1-inch mark. Start my process. So I usually kind of line mine up with the 1-inch mark, and then I see that it goes way over on this side. So I'll go ahead and cut that before I do that too, and make sure that I close the end up. It's something you don't want to forget. Much better if you have this all closed up before you start, because just in case as you're changing your stoma decides that it's time to go, then you'll have the end closed and it won't have the ability to fall out and be all over the floor. I forgot, as I'm closing this up, I'm looking for the area I tuck it, and that's the thing. One thing I did not like about this bag is that there is no protective area on here. Now granted, the Velcro area is that it goes down. So again, your clothes rubbing on here or anything, it shouldn't catch this and open it, as opposed to if this were going up. But I forgot about that. It's been a while. When I first ordered these, they were out of the complete gray ones, so they sent me this to try. And they said, I'm like, well, it's okay, but it's not protected. Didn't care for that. But it was fine. I didn't have any problems with it. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this. Now again, a lot of people, when you have stomas, again, you know your size already. You know what kind of hole you want. You can use the guidelines that are on here if you're going center. Even if you're going not center. I used to cut it without marking it first. And now I've gotten to the point of, you know, I think I'd just rather mark it. And then I know for sure that I usually don't have to come back and cut it bigger again. So the other nice thing about having it see-through is that when you hold it up to measure it, you can make sure you can see through there and you can see that it's going to go around your stoma. So I'm going to leave the adhesive on here for right now, again, just to make sure when I'm ready, I'm going to make sure that it is big enough. But if I had my other type of a bag, it would have a clear covering on there that I would get that ready to go. I take that off. This has a double-sided, it has another covering on this side. I just leave that be until I'm ready for that. And here we go. So I'll fold this up so it doesn't get in the way. This is also a Convatec type of bag. I'm forgetting what type it is. I'll leave it in the descriptions and all that below. So I will spray with the adhesive. Oh, I've got marker all over me. This is a more of a slippery type of covering on there, again, than the other bag. It's more of a sticker, so I'm gonna have purple fingers. Anyways, yeah, to remove, you just kind of pull this off, but you want to do it gently so you don't hurt your skin at all. With this bag, like I said, one of the cons per se of this bag is that the flange around it leaves a lot of residue, like clothing residue. So I try to leave my bag on. I take off this tape ring type part. I leave the other barrier on if I can. This is going to happen again. Okay. And then I try to clean off all the clothing residue. So again, I'm protected. If again the stoma wants to go, you have no control over your ostomy. When it wants to go, it goes. And so again, this way, if I have a bag on, it will end up in the bag. And I don't have to worry about going on the floor or anything. The other thing I've noticed with every once in a while, you could have a bad batch of bags. So if you do have a leak with the bag, and then you go and put another bag on, and then you end up having a leak with that bag, you probably have a bad batch. So like right now when I'm doing this, what happened was my tape flange here is separating from the colloidal ring. And I have this box marked that it may be a bad batch of bags. In one of my orders, I got 2 boxes of bags. And with that one box that I had been wearing, we put one on and I had a leakage come out the side. And then, so I changed it. At that point in time, it was shortly, I think, after I had gotten the stoma or whatever, I was having my husband help me change the bags and everything. And so we changed it to another bag, and again, within an hour, I had a leak again. So I think I changed it in the morning, like at my morning shower or whatever, and then it had leaked, so we changed it again. And then within like an hour or whatever, yeah, it had leaked again. So I had 2 bags that leaked. And so then we said, you know what, let's try a bag from a different box. And I did, and that was fine. And then the next time we went for a bag change, my husband gathered up the supplies for me, because again, I was laying in bed for me right away after my stoma, when I had the surgery and everything. Standing here doing all this rubbing on here to get all this clothing material off, actually kind of made me kind of nauseous. I wasn't able to put all that pressure on there, and so I felt like passing out, so I laid down on the bed. So I had my husband help me for a little while I was laying in bed, and he would help me get the bag off. So yeah, the next time that we went to change the bag, I put it on, whatever, he put it on and stuff, and a while later I had a leak. And I asked him, I'm like, what box did you get that bag out of? And he was like, oh shoot, I got it out of that box. And I'm like, okay, then we know for sure. This whole box is a bad batch and it leaks, and I tossed it out. And so because I had a second box in with that same order, I figured, that could have been the same run, the same batch that they were making at that time. So I wrote on the box, this may be a bad batch. And then I've worn them. This is the second one I've worn, and it's been fine. I haven't had a leak, even though I've had some of the pancaking up in this area. But I think it's thick enough, whereas before it was, I had like more thinner output, more watery. So because this is thick, but yes, it's all separating from this ring. And I have had one shower in between. I didn't know if it was going to last through that either, but I also made sure that when I was trying these bags, that I was going to be home, that I wasn't going to be out and about anywhere. I think I did run a few places this week, but yeah, just to make sure that in case I had a leak, I would be home and I'd be able to change it. And then I would know and I would get rid of that box. But it's kind of like, all right, it's been working, so even though I have a lot of other bags, I figure I'll just still go through these. Okay, now you can see on here, there's a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it or not, it's not as dark as it used to be. I'll try to zoom in the camera, but you can see here where there's still some feces. There's some barrier ring residue. So you want to make sure that you get everything all nice and cleaned up. I forgot to put a towel on the floor. This barrier ring residue is kind of like a glue dot, if you know what that is. It's very sticky. So if it does get on the floor and all that, it could also be kind of hard to clean up. I usually stand over my bag and I wipe everything up so that everything will fall into the bag if it needs to. But sometimes when you get whatever, either credit cards in the mail, or if you're old enough to get those AARP cards, or even fake credit cards, and saying, hey, sign up, and they use those glue dots to glue the cards onto the paper. That's what this is like. It's very sticky, which is good. It needs to hold everything in place. So that's it. If you're just first getting your ostomy, and it could be all red and sensitive in here, you may not be able to get it completely cleaned up. Do the best job that you can. The cleaner you get it, the better, again, everything else will stick and you'll have less chance of leaks. If you're a guy, you may want to shave this area, because same thing, if it's so hairy, the bag will have less chance of sticking well and you might have leaks. So, I'm feeling some gas. Okay, so the next thing I do is with my bag, I will hold it up to here and make sure that I can see my ostomy all the way through. So I do that on the mirror. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that'll be fine. The other thing that I was saying was that in cleaning up, also the ostomy is very vascular. So if you nick it, like I've nicked it with my nail once before too when I've been cleaning up, and it'll bleed a little bit, but as long as it's not profusely bleeding, you're fine. That happens sometimes, is that it bleeds. Okay, now that this is good enough, I don't need to cut it any bigger, I will take that off. And then, now when I first had this in the hospital, they told me to get the ring big enough and you put it on the bag and then put it all on at once. And then there was a time I was wondering, because of all the barrier ring I was having, I wasn't seeing any other videos that those people, anybody else was having that problem. So I went to see the ostomy nurse, and I happened to have a leak that day, my first leak. So she was all excited about that. She was like, oh, and she told me to take this ring and put it right on the ostomy, because, or around it, so that way you have a nice solid barrier around the ostomy. So you know that it's protected, it's covered. The thing is too that when this gets wet, when it gets more, wet from the output and stuff, it does expand a little bit. So just make sure I try to get it as covered as possible, because wherever there's an opening, when the feces does come out, if it gets on there, the acidity from the feces can harm the skin. That's what kind of eats away at the skin. And again, you can wear your bag straight, you can wear it sideways, whatever angle you want. I always like to have mine on an angle, so when I'm sitting on the toilet, it empties easier for me. So again, let me just use the mirror to get it on there. And then I press all around the stoma to make sure I've got a good seal all around there. Now with this one, again, it only has that one ring of colloidal barrier. It doesn't have the extra tape barrier like my other one did, so there's nothing else to extra to take off. So just hold your hands on there for about 60 seconds. So the heat from your hands helps the ring to stick more. It helps it kind of adhere to the skin. Some people like to use a hair dryer set on the low setting and do that a little bit. That's too much work for me. I don't have mine nearby. I guess if it were in here always, I could do that, but the heat from my hands has worked, again, just fine. So like I said, I had received an ileostomy the end of March, I think it was like March 23rd maybe, of 2023. And unfortunately my tumor was in my rectum. It was too close to the sphincter muscle, and so my surgeon couldn't save that area. So she had to take out the rectum and the anus, the sphincter muscle and all that, and converted my ileostomy into a colostomy. So that happened December of 23. So I've had both. I've had experience with the ileostomy, I've had experience with the colostomy. They both have their things. I guess there too, when I had my ileostomy, I was going through chemo and radiation, and both of those kind of make your output more loose. So I had a lot more watery output during that time. I think when I first got the ostomy and that, it was just a little bit thicker and it seemed to be okay, but then it was pretty much watery. So I dealt with that. And then with the colostomy, it's been thicker output. But okay, unfortunately with this, because of the surgery that went on and because of either having to go in there with the whole big midline scar and whatever, I had a whole hysterectomy done at that point in time too, and they did a muscle flap. They took a muscle from here and one of my rectus abdominis muscles, they were able to cut it from the one side because it's connected on two sides. They cut it from the top and they flipped it over, and they were able to sew up my butt that way using the muscle. But because of all that happening, I ended up getting some scar tissue inside, some around my small intestine. So I've had a few blockages. Since I've never had a blockage with the ileostomy. But with the colostomy, I've had a couple blockages. So there you have it. That's it. Now again, you can, obviously tuck. You can tuck it if you want. This one, if you wanted to use a stoma dome, you can put the stickers on there, put the stoma dome on. Otherwise, I think for me, like when there's shorts and stuff like this, it's just tight and there's not enough room for me that when the output comes out that it would go down. So again, having the stoma dome would be helpful. Or a lot of times, this isn't too bad, this is low enough. My other pants come up here and I still have sensitivity, even though it's been over a year, I still have sensitivity with the scar and on my abdomen. So I just, like to wear everything out. It's comfortable having my pants below and then this sticks out, and then I just try to wear a longer shirt and a sweatshirt or whatever that covers it, and we go from there. But we shall get this all bagged up. This just goes in the regular garbage. As I heard, just like with diapers and or whatnot, and if you have dogs, just be careful, make sure everything is well sealed. Make sure it goes into a garbage that's well protected so that it doesn't get gotten into, have a mess. And you wash your hands just like you would if you just went to the bathroom. Just changed everything up. And that's it. When I first had the ostomy and I was first doing bag changes, it would take a good half an hour, 45 minutes. These days I can do a bag change usually within 10 minutes. So again, obviously it takes longer when I'm doing a video because I'm videotaping and showing you everything I'm doing. But otherwise I get all my supplies in here and it's just like boom, 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 go, go, go. Bag comes off fairly easily. Like I said, longest part almost is cleaning up that residue, the clothing residue. With this bag, I won't have the clothing residue. That's a benefit of this one, and it comes off real easily. So again, I do a bag change. Once you get used to it, it can go fairly quickly. So it's okay. I hope if you guys have an ostomy, everything is going well. Your skin as well. If you have any questions, make sure you get a hold of either like your surgeon or an ostomy nurse. Ostomy nurses are great. They can give lots of tips and tricks on what's going on. If you're having any type of problems, and or call your ostomy bag company. They know a lot of information too. They can direct you to the right type of bag and products that you might need. So, I hope all is well with you. You guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.